my speakers.
We are now live. So yay, very exciting. We're also connecting to our Facebook page, and you can see us live on YouTube too. So if you're seeing us on Instagram, yay, great. But next week when you see us, you can go ahead and see us on YouTube, Facebook. So if you're not on Instagram. So in just a moment here, my partner Alegre will be joining us, and she's going to be joining us here live on Instagram. She's already live here with me on Zoom. Hey, Allegra. I don't know if you can hear me right now. I've got you muted on one end because if I don't mute you, we will have crazy reverberating sound waves. I am Natascha Corrigan. This is Allegra of bywdreams.com. And together we are Beyond Your Wildest Dreams. And we are committed to you, a parent, a mother, a father, a caregiver of some kind, living a life beyond your wildest dreams, finding a way to prioritize yourself, save time, and of course, achieve your goals. That's what we're all about. That's what we're committed to. That is our mission statement. I love that one. Hey, my phone is giving me a little, there we go. So we're working it out technologically. It's happening. We're doing it.
This is our third restream. So we're still working out the bugs.
Yeah. So hi. So I was just telling Allegra that I'm auditioning for Queen Amidala, the musical. AKA.
Oh my gosh. I want to hear Queen Amidala, the musical. I want to hear the music.
Okay. It's a boring musical, honestly. It's super boring because she's like,
he loves me, but he's evil.
Why does everyone keep saying I'm carrying twins? Why do people keep touching my belly? People are rude. That's why.
I don't know why I wear 2 dots on my cheeks.
I know, seriously. It's
Actually, I know because apparently it's based on Mongolian attire, and they do that. So that's where it came from. Yes.
No, y'all, I'm just doing the heatless curler thing because I got a thing tonight, and I was telling Allegra, she and I both are like, I'm just not good at blowing out my hair. I'm just not good at it. It takes me forever. It never really looks good. So this heatless curler thing has been working. It's really just like a puffy tube
foam thing, right?
Foam thing with a wire in it so that you can kind of just, and then they give you like little silky, so it's like silky. Well, probably just, fake satin. It's not silk, obviously. And then they give you little silky scrunchies to kind of just, at the end, you just kind of use the scrunchies, and I just pull it back because I literally went outside this morning and walked my dog like this. And I was like, don't care.
Oh my gosh, you look like a little milkmaid right now.
I look like Osaka, right? I just look very Star Warsian today.
No, I was thinking milkmaid, like,
I like that too. I'll take it. So just, this is life. This is how we're showing up. It's 9:30 Wednesday, and this is just
how we do it.
Going on with my hair. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, should I wrap it after our IG? Should I wrap it? I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's going to be all kind of half dry, and it's like not going to work.
That's so funny.
So y'all, we're here. We're showing up. I got my shirt on though. We got our background going on, and we're here to have our Q&A/chat with Alegre and Natascha every Wednesday morning right here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m.
Right.
I'll get it right sometime. I'm only halfway through my first cup of coffee, so.
Well, and if you haven't checked out our social before, you'll know that Natascha and I just show up however we're showing up. We do not use filters. All of the makeup I own to fit in maybe one palm of my hand. No, my lipsticks would be the other palm. Sorry, I do like lipsticks. So 2 palms of my hand. We are not hair and makeup professionals by any means. I've had the same hair dryer for multiple decades. It's actually kind of you know how like things can get kind of like plastic can get a little slimy. So like I think because the coating on the hair dryer has come into contact with, rubbing alcohol and like all the other things.
Your hairspray or something like that. Yeah, something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't own hairspray because there ain't no spray that can hold this hair. But rubbing alcohol and hydrogen peroxide, and it started to like degrade. And so literally every time I use my hair dryer, which is really only if like I have to wash my hair at midnight, right? I'll use my hair dryer so I can go to bed. That's it. But I literally have to wash my hands every time after because it's like, oh,
You're like literal plastic slime.
Yeah, plastic
Very
goo.
very cool if you've got crap loads of makeup and you love to blow dry your hair. That's just not what we do per se. But really, Allegra's bringing this up just to say we just show up how we are, and that's we show up as we are. And so I thought, I debated today. I was like, you look ridiculous. So maybe you shouldn't. But you know what? It's true. It's real. It's life. Like I was a huge fan of Lauryn Hill. If y'all remember her from the Fugees, and she did her breakout solo album, and she did this amazing unplugged back in the day, like early 2000s, I think. And she like showed up to this unplugged. She didn't reschedule. She was like not 100%. Like her voice was scratchy and tired and and it's just it's just so beautiful to have somebody show up. I'm not comparing myself to Lauryn Hill, by the way, but just like, I just remember being so inspired by how authentic she showed up. Yeah, it wasn't pristine. Her voice wasn't pristine, right? But she was, but it was real, and you could feel what she was saying, And so I just love and really connect to authenticity, and and try as much as I can. I for sure have my own little corners of like, oh, I want to really look good, and whether that's physically or just socially looking good somehow, So I'm not saying that I live like the most authentic life per se, but I do strive to be legit and real. So this is my version of that right now.
Yeah. I'm no good at hair and makeup, so I'll just put that out there. Never been one. My mom and sister always did my hair and makeup for, dances and stuff like that. Yeah, because I don't know how to do that stuff. Not my area of expertise. So Natascha mentioned we are BYW Dreams, and we have books and content. We're all about accessible, actionable, brain science backed content. But today, and on Wednesday, we always just chat about something, and if our books come up, they come up. But you can find everything at our website, bywdreams.com. But today I wanted to talk about something that, kind of blew my mind, and it really shouldn't have blown my mind. But, this highlights something called a cognitive bias, right? And social scientists have documented hundreds of cognitive biases that we have. And some of them are as simple as what's called a recency bias, which makes total sense once I explain it, which is that you tend to more heavily weight something that you've done recently than something that you did a long time ago. And part of it is just because that's what you remember. So I always joke that one of the great things about us doing a monthly course correct is that it makes me aware of the fact that I actually did something in December besides drinking eggnog, because the last week of the year, all I do is turn into an eggnog slug. And if I thought
Which
about
is, by the way, the best slug to be. It really is. Like, if you're going to be a slug, you should be an eggnog slug.
Totally.
And she makes the most ridiculously amazing homemade eggnog that, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
It's so easy. So one of the things about doing a monthly course correct is that it helps to override this recency bias. So I studied anthropology in undergrad, both cultural and biological. So this should not have been a bias of mine, and yet it still was, which is Natascha and I talk all the time about habits, and we talk about keystone habits, which are these really fascinating habits that have a trickle-down effect in all areas of your life, right? If you engage in a keystone habit, it is better for you than what you might think. And one of the most studied keystone habits is making your bed. And you might think to yourself, well, making my bed makes my room look neater. Yes, but it's also been shown to, improve mood, improve a sense of accomplishment, and maybe most surprising of all, improve sleep, because the process of unmaking your bed sends a signal to your brain that says, oh, I'm ready to, get a good night's sleep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So recently I watched a video. So I like to do the 7-minute scientific workout. I don't know how many people are familiar with that, but if I do not enjoy exercise for exercise sake. I enjoy playing games. Like I enjoy playing tennis, or I enjoy going hiking, or I enjoy those things. But lifting weights in a room is challenging for me. So on the days when I don't get in tennis or hiking, I do the 7-minute workout, and I usually queue it up on YouTube because that's just an easy place to grab it. And, YouTube will serve you a video after based on what you've looked for. And so what it served me was a video about 8 habits that people in Japan use to make their life happier and better. And the YouTuber, his name is Samurai Matcha, which I loved.
I like it.
Yeah, so good. So you can look it up. But he was talking about habits. He didn't use the term keystone, but the habits he was talking about were very much keystone habits so the first habit, dun, 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 is cleaning your toilet every morning.
Oh.
And it's not cleaning your toilet. When I think of cleaning your toilet American style, I think, right, like I put in some baking soda, I grab the brush, inside, right? No, he's talking about like taking, I don't know if he used toilet paper or like, it almost looked like a cotton pad, like the kind you use to like use toner on your face, like that, and going around the rim and down to the base of the floor. And actually he was kneeling in front of the toilet while he was doing it. And he was talking about, right, the obvious benefit is that you have a clean toilet now. But the surprising benefits, so this is why I was thinking that's probably like a keystone habit, are 1, it makes you more cognizant of dirt in your environment because, a clean toilet tends to be very, very white. And he says it makes him more detail oriented because of that, right? Because even though he cleans it daily, he'll still sometimes like, oh, a water spot, right? I've never cleaned a water spot off my toilet. When you're cleaning a toilet, right, I'm focused on specific things, not how polished is this, right? So it makes it more detail oriented. And also a number of people were saying that they feel like it makes them more humble. And he was pointing to the fact that many of these highly decorated Japanese citizens credit cleaning toilets with life happiness and personal success because they say it keeps them humble. And that, yeah, he was mentioning how some CEOs, even 5 decades into being CEO of the company, they still clean the toilet at their company that they founded. And I think that's pretty amazing. It's kind of like that whole, what's that TV show where they have the boss work? It's like Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like
that show.
Right?
It's fascinating. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you knew that the CEO of your company was coming in to clean the toilets at the company, think about how different the relationship would be between the CEO and the employees because of that. So it was really fascinating. And also just like, because I thought to myself, oh, right. It makes sense that keystone habits are cultural. Again, going back to my anthropology, that should not have been a surprise, but it's not like I practice anthropology. So yeah, that was a great, like, I feel like I'm going to start noticing habits that are intercultural, multicultural, only belong to a certain culture more now because of that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I 100% do not relate to cleaning my toilet as like a mindful practice of any kind. It's just like, get that brush on there and definitely have to wipe down the outside and base of my toilet because I have boys who have aiming. So yeah, so I don't, I'm going to look at this a little differently. It's funny because I cleaned my toilet this morning because it needed it, not because it's like my morning ritual, because I looked at it, I was like, ooh, not because like every day I'm cleaning my toilet, so
right.
Yeah, it's more kind of like, do it on a regular basis and then every time as needed, but not regularly daily. That's interesting.
I want to watch this video again because it made me aware, right? One of the things that we talk about in our book, Rock Your Morning, is part of my morning ritual is actually clearing the dish rack. And I feel like it's kind of a similar practice, although for me, it was just very personal, right? Like I noticed that the dish rack not getting cleared in the morning just sort of like gave me anxiety. And I was like, you know what? You can clear the dish rack and then you won't have that anxiety. It's like, okay. So I feel like it's kind of akin to that. And we all have the things, right, that bother us.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like my
I
husband.
don't have to have a clean dish rack in the morning. It's nice when it is, it for sure is nice. But it doesn't have to be in the morning.
No, we all have the things. Like one of my husband's things is if there are shoes out and about in the house, they must be paired side by side. Like I could have mine like this or like this. And I personally prefer to have shoes out of sight, out of mind, right? So I've given each of us a drawer in a bureau in our entryway to put our shoes in. And those are the things that you kind of have to negotiate, right? When you cohabitate. So I agreed, I will put my shoes like this if they are out and about.
Yeah. And he feel a little bit more, I get that feeling of your, like having your shoes lined up next to each other. It does, because we have like little, we have a little slip-ons that we use around the house, or if you're walking around in the house without your, because everybody takes their shoes off when we get home, basically. But if you got to run outside or whatever, you get the little slip-ons, and I want them next to each other, and I want the big ones over here and the smallest ones here, and I want it, you know what I mean? Like, and I know not everybody in the house wants that, but they do know they want them lined up again so that it's touching the wall, so it's not just like all over the entryway,
Right.
The whole biggest to smallest thing, that's my own. And like, I don't expect anybody else, especially not my family, to be like, oh, let me rearrange these by size.
Well, guess what?
Oh, putting the shoes together?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. So the my phone just told me that my phone's going to die. So let me move. I'm going to move for a moment and walk around the back and plug it in. So
okay.
All you, Allegra.
Okay, I'll just talk a little bit about our books while she's gone. So we have 3 books out now. So as Natascha mentioned, we are on a mission to empower parents, caregivers to prioritize themselves, save time, and accomplish your goals. And if you feel like accomplishing my goals, I don't even have a spare second to clean the toilet, as we're talking about today, then our Rock Your Morning book is for you. It's all about helping you carve out some time just for yourself, preferably first thing in the morning. However, if it ends up being an evening thing, we do address that in the book. And we're not going to tell you how long your morning ritual should be, and we're not going to tell you what to put in it. We're just going to tell you why it's valuable and how to go about creating one. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that my morning ritual is what keeps me sane. So that's that. Our second book is all designed to help you save time. It's called 3, 2, 1 Done, 3 Simple Steps to Get Your To-Do List Done. And this is the most simple, actionable productivity book you will ever find in your entire life. You see, our books are super short. They're designed to be read in about 45 minutes, and they're actually workbooks because Natascha and I have decades of educational experience, and we know that you learn best by doing. And so they also make great gifts. And then our third book, which I only have the version for, not for resale. See,
that's how new it is. We don't even have a regular hard copy yet.
Yeah. When authors order their own print copies, they get put on like the least important. You could order it and get it faster right now than I could get it. So just FYI. But this was the version, that we just redlined to make edits to. And this is our latest book called Rock Your Mission, 3 Steps to Getting Clarity and Buy-in from Your Family. And again, short read. And Rock Your Mission is all about the fact that anytime you get more than one person together, this could be working together, this could be cohabitating, whatever. There are things that you have to, negotiate. What time do we go to bed? What time, what temperature do we have the room at? And those are just very obvious examples. But when you have a family and maybe you have children, you start to think about sort of bigger picture things, like what kind of environment do I want our family to be in? Do we want to be loud, boisterous, fun, generous, whatever? And this is the simple yet profound process of getting your family on kind of speaking the same language. My family's had a mission statement for 11 years, and it's been a really powerful tool for us.
And if you and your family already do like a regular family meeting of some kind, like my husband and I do a regular, like we do a financial, we call it a money love date meetings, but we don't have a regular family meeting. But if you do, you're already like halfway there with this mission statement thing, because your family already knows about like, it's kind of like, hey, let's really, really be intentional about what our family is about. So I had a little family meeting just a couple days ago because it's the start of our summer break. And I just wanted to like get everybody on the same page about what the summer is going to look like, because a lot of times my kids find out, like, I tell them things, but they don't really drop it in. And they're like, wait, we're leaving tomorrow for the country, you know, things like that. So, you know, I made them a little kid calendar for the summer, that kind of thing. And we just had like a quick family meeting. And oh my God, let me tell you, Allegra, it was so, just to get them to like sit still and sit down, you know, was like, so if you already do, it was a challenge, you know, and then like to get them to pay attention where they weren't just like cracking jokes or making, you know, like was just already so challenging. So if you already have the practice of a family meeting, my goodness, you're more than halfway there for this idea of the family mission statement. Yeah, it was a challenge. I'll tell you, it was a major challenge.
And it definitely takes wrangling. Like when my husband and I first started having a regular meeting, we never had meetings until we had a child. We didn't need to have meetings until we had a child. But once we had a child, suddenly we were having all these miscommunications happening about like, wait, you're going where? How long are you going to be gone? What? That sort of thing.
Right.
And it just makes everyday life stressful. And so we decided to have a Sunday meeting where we would just, calendar so that we could understand what the ebb and flow of the week was going to look like.
Yeah.
And then, he started to see the benefits of it. He felt the lower stress level. He saw that we were communicating better. And even though at first it was like dragging, a kid along, like, come on, let's do this meeting. He started saying, hey, we need to do the meeting. And anytime we miss a meeting because, we're sick or traveling or we're camping that weekend, you can always tell during that week. Like, oh, right, we didn't have a meeting. That's why.
Yeah, same. Our family, my husband and I do that family, the money love date, but I also do this thing that we have with BYWD called our partner page. And on Sunday night, I just kind of like fill in the week on all the necessary information that he would need to know, so that we can, when he has to do a pickup, or please make sure that you drop this thing off, or that kind of thing. And then he likes to use it too, because then he just keeps his notes on the back for like other things that he needs to. So it just becomes like kind of like his little master list for the week. Yeah. And if I skip that, or if I fill it in on Tuesday instead of Sunday, I'm usually filling it in on Tuesday because Monday was a mess. Right.
Yeah.
So if I skip it, it really does make a difference. And it may also feel like I understand, there's all this talk about the invisible load or the emotional load or the invisible work that often winds up in the laps of the woman in the relationship. Yes, on some level that is like invisible work in a way, right? For sure. I shouldn't say in a way, it is, right? Where I'm taking it upon myself to go ahead and just map out our collective week. He doesn't need to know all of my appointments, and that kind of thing. He doesn't need to know that stuff, right? So, but I have to just say that like, it just makes things flow much easier. And then we have like a touchstone too, for when I do show it to him, I'm like, I just quickly walk him through it. And he's like, great. He's like, oh, by the way, and this is when he's usually like, oh yeah, by the way, on Wednesday, I got a blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So like this, it helps me too. Obviously it helps both of us. He gets the partner page, but if there's something that also that he forgot to communicate with me, or wants to remind me of something, it'll come up then too. So highly recommend, obviously, as much streamlined and or smooth communication that you can foster, especially on a regular basis. It makes a huge difference for your family and for your sanity and for your peace.
Right. And invisible work, I get it, but there's also a point where one of you are going to realize that one of you is sort of the more organized. I mean, at least if you end up in a partnership like mine, where our strengths are very different. Right. And I'm just the more organized one. I just tend to think that way. And so I take that role on in our family. If I asked, oh, Natasha, did something switch over Bluetooth wise?
I hope not.
Oh, okay.
No.
So, you might just realize like, hey, I'm the more organized one. So I'm going to do the partner page, or I'm going to call the meeting, or whatever the case may be. And, he's better at doing a lot of things, and those are the things he does. So that's just kind of,
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. The invisible work has to happen. Somebody's got to do it, right? Often it falls to the woman, but let me tell you, writing a partner page makes my invisible work visible. Having a family meeting makes your invisible work visible, right?
yes.
And it's very much like you were talking about parenting loudly. We were having a conversation the other day, in this really amazing book that Allegra has been suggesting. Might have even suggested it a couple times here on our Wednesdays chats. Pay up. And the suggestion there, as Allegra has told me, is parent loudly. Let people know what you are doing. Let your partner know what is up, what your workload has been, and it's not about complaining per se, but when I throw down the partner page, like he really appreciates it, because it does make his week go smoother, but it really does show him like, oh, wow, like, there's a lot going on. There's lots of things she's planned or things that I've handled that, and yeah, like Allegra said, he takes care of a lot of other stuff that I don't take care of,
Mm-hmm.
So is it 50-50? But as Brene Brown says, that's an absolutely ridiculous expectation.
Right.
50-50.
Yeah.
That you're always going to show up 50-50. Sometimes it's going to be 30-70, and she has this great suggestion about like, when you get home and checking in with your partner and being like, I only got 30 today. And they're like, okay, I'll pick up your slack, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's a partnership. It's not a 50-50 partnership. And that is an absolutely unrealistic expectation to have. Sometimes you're both going to show up 80-80, you know what I mean? Woo!
Yeah.
Great day. Fantastic. Right. But sometimes, you got 10%. You got to let your partner know. And that shows up in the visible and invisible work. And then of course, your energy level, your bandwidth, your emotional capacity, all that kind of stuff. So 50-50 is a ridiculous fallacy to try and
The other thing I like too about the Brene Brown example is that she says, if their numbers don't add up to 100, like if she says I'm a 20 and he says I'm a 20,
right,
then they sit down and say, how can we make sure that we can operate with kindness around each other today?
Right.
Because we're both like,
mm-hmm.
And I think that's an excellent tool.
Yeah, truly excellent. Yeah, for sure. So Allegra and I often talk a lot about like the nuts and bolts of planning, life design, family communication, and all that kind of stuff. But, this of course spills over into emotional, spiritual, and mental realms as well.
Yes. So it's been our pleasure to be with you this week. Join us again next Wednesday, although Natascha and I have a summer schedule going, so it might be changing up who you see here, but join us for a chat at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern on Wednesdays. And I think we've mentioned this before, but we'll let you know when we get there.
We'll totally let you know. We'll let you know. Awesome. Thank you so much for showing up. And who knows what my hair will look like next week.
I know we need to see the after. We need to see the after.
I'll post the after. I'll post the after. It's still pretty damp right now. It ain't ready to come out. So, but I'll post the after.